too. I'm here with always the lovely SOA Sandra. Good afternoon
Good.
over there.
Yes, good after. Well, not yet. In 5 minutes, it will be good afternoon. So,
Okay,
good morning to
good
you.
morning still. There we go. Boy, do we have a great discussion today. And after so much of the signing and rumors being confirmed over the past weeks, we had this great pay-per-view called All Out. I believe that AEW, I think in the next couple years, I don't think right away, they're catching up on the ratings now. I think AEW is definitely the new generation, the new future of wrestling. I think it is the new WWF. Is it going to reach the plateaus as the Attitude Era did? Nobody is. No. Ratings wise, not as good as those. But what it is going to do is going to bring in a lot of new generation, new people, older people who want that, the bookings to be better, the storylines to be better, the talent. I don't know what's going on with WWE over there, Sandra. No, absolutely no clue. All this talent is now with AEW, and it is insane. So, right off the bat, we were rumored to have CM Punk sign with AEW. That was the big one. And I heard this morning that I believe one of the whoever their partners are on cable network, they were going to give them money to sign CM Punk. But WWE said no. And then you had Daniel Bryan, one of your really best baby faces in the WWE. He had a great match at WrestleMania this year with Edge and Roman Reigns. I actually wanted him to win, but a lot of people were speculating once his contract was up that he was going to go elsewhere. Adam Cole from NXT, superstar talent, contract up. Is he going to AEW? You also have other stars who were released, shocking, like Bray Wyatt, who might go to AEW. Insane. I even hear rumors Ric Flair might. So all this talent that the WWE has been that had, and it is talent, seems to see a bright future over there in AEW. Chris Jericho has been praising AEW and saying that we're coming. Right now, in the current situation, I would say AEW is not it's not overtaking WWE just yet. It's close in the ratings. They're very close in this last week. Especially with so they brought in I believe AK Ruby Riot, All Out,
Ruby Soho.
Ruby Soho. They brought CM Punk in his first match at All Out. And they really went all out because they brought in Adam Cole. They brought Daniel or Brian Danielson now. Holy moly. And they had one of the greatest matches of all time when it came to tag team matches with the Lucha Bros in a cage match. Amazing match. I mean, I honestly thought that match could be, I think it might be better than the TLC match. With Edge and Christian, Dudley Boys, and the Hardys. It was that good. There was no botches. It was clean. Oh my! I cannot praise that match. And the whole pay per view was good. CM Punk against what's his name? I forget his name sometimes. We're still learning some of these names on here.
Who
He's
are you
with the
talking about?
CM Punk versus
Darby Allen.
Darby Allen. There he is, right here. Darby Allen, who came out with, and then you got Sting over there, you know. So like, oh my god, the AEW lineup roster is absolutely fantastic, and we're gonna dive into it. Before I want to dive into all this stuff, I want to say speedy recovery to Triple H. He had to go into surgery. I believe he kind of almost had like a heart attack, pretty much. I think he had a heart attack or something like that. But he's going to fully recover after his surgery. So speedy recovery. Triple H, one of the best in the game, and then also he's done a lot of great work as well behind the scenes. So we want to wish that guy a speedy recovery. Um, so Sandra, what is going on with WWE? What is Vince McMahon doing now? He's taking over NXT. They got a new logo. It look kind of reminds me of like a cross between MTV and Nickelodeon. How do
Back in
you
the 80s.
back in the 80s? How do you feel with all these releases going to AEW, and do you see other people going that route as well? WWE has Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair, Roman Reigns. They got Brock Lesnar back for at least a couple matches. Bobby Lashley. But do you think this roster could? Do you think it goes toe to toe with the AEW roster? You see the AEW roster just improving and getting better and just overall overtaking the ratings at some point.
So let's start with the beginning on how AEW started. It started because Cody Rhodes was sick and tired of the politics of the WWE.
Mm-hmm.
He decided to put his money and effort to start something small. And people digged it. People sold out the first show in less than 2 or 3 seconds. There was a there is a need for some competition. It started small. It started with a couple of guys. One of the biggest name with Cody Rhodes was Chris Jericho. And Jericho is one of the greatest because he is a good wrestler, but he's even a better promo guy.
Oh, most definitely. Mm-hmm.
He is what brought, and because of Chris Jericho, a lot of guys decided to jump ship and go to AEW. To your question, what's happening with WWE? I think, and I've seen that for the last couple of years, is that they are greedy to have everybody comes to work with the company when you are to a point that you have like three rosters long of people for an amount limited amount of hours. So
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna have people who will never show up, and there's some people they're okay to get paid and do nothing. Others don't. The latest rumor I heard is that Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn are the two next ones
Yeah,
to get out
exact.
of there.
Yes, if they
And
lose Kevin Owens, oh my God, he's
and
such a great talent.
Kevin Owens did a little, not a mistake. I think it was calculated, but he posted a picture of him and the Young Bucks from Ring of Honor, which he deleted it right away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
But it
yeah,
was
I saw
caught.
that. I saw that. Yeah, it's Kevin Owens. I think you watch WWE and you see a lot of these stars just not getting the great booking, not great getting any push, or
No,
when they do get push, they kind of just resort back. It's insane. Like Kevin Owens is kind of a guy who they have him fight the same matches all the time. And yet he's trying his best to make the matches like, at least entertaining, different. And I watched I think he's kind of he's your all regular kind of man when it comes into like his character and stuff, which I like. It's nothing. He's nothing like when it comes to look wise spectacular, but the guy knows how to move. The guy knows how to wrestle. The guy knows how to high fly. Like there is great stuff going on there. I just think that if the writing team or just overall Vince, if he's still taking over all this stuff and he doesn't know what he's doing, get this guy. Like he can be a great. I don't see him as like a great champion, but a great rival. Put on great matches, but they give him the same stuff. And if I'm a wrestler, I'd be so sick and tired of doing the same thing over and over again. And then they're disrespecting Jeff Hardy.
well, Funny you mentioned Jeff Hardy. I just read this morning an article on the grid on Chris Jericho's website
Mm-hmm.
saying they're asking him, I'm like, how do you feel when you are lower to now being a cameo on the 24/7 championship? And basically he answered back, he says, you know what? This is the past. Every week I go in with a new attitude, and whatever you ask me to do, I will do it. But that is how you piss off people. This is how you turn wrestlers to not liking anymore what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
That's what happened with CM Punk. CM Punk, WWE made him hate wrestling. And that's why he got off and he was frustrated and he was an asshole, even if you tried to talk to him because he got disgusted by what happened.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I'm saying coming on. And I just want to answer to Jermaine because he asked one question about if TNA Impact is
TNA.
still around.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, Impact is still around. And funny thing that I can mention to you is that Impact is basically a change of TNA. So TNA became Impact, but I have close relationship with Impact because one of the guy that works and is in the management is Scott Demore.
Mm-hmm.
Scott Demore started a wrestling school here in Windsor, Ontario, Canada.
Ooh,
And
nice.
back in the 2000s, I was going there every month because they had a monthly show. And I got to meet the Tommy Dreamers and the Jerry Lynn's and like the Eric Young. All those guys, they got trained here in Windsor, Ontario. So now that I know that he brought his little border city wrestling into Impact, I still have connections with Impact.
Mm-hmm.
And the latest rumor is that Bray Wyatt and Braun Strowman are going to Impact.
I heard Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman. I think Braun Strowman for sure. I think yeah, Wyatt though, Mike. I think he was gonna
Yes.
go A and
And
W,
because
honestly.
they are working closely with AEW
Mm-hmm.
and they're like going back and forth, I think that just makes AEW even stronger because
Yes.
you have like it's like having the National League and the American League or the school under you that you can bring up and like send people to have two product that people can watch compared to WWE is doing that with NXT, but they are killing their people. There's too many people. They were too greedy to get everybody. And what do you do with all those people? Ruby Riot, that was one of the worst release that you release Ruby Riot, but you keep Eva Marie.
Oh, I
Can
know,
somebody
right?
explain me what's happening here? Like,
Or how about Nia Jackson? I am so sick of Nia Jackson
I,
being able just hurting people, man. Just being you've been in a game for how long?
yeah,
That's the problem. Is the politics in WWE. I'm
yeah,
so sick of it. Do you know why Nia Jackson is still around? It's because her connections to The Rock, her family connections in general. And yeah, I like, I think Nia Jackson is she looks like she looks like she's I think she looks like she belongs there, but the problem is she's not improving. She's still
no,
hurting people. She's still
yes,
botching stuff. She's not and it looks like she doesn't want to. And that frustrates me. And if I'm Vince McMahon, if I'm anybody who's the head there, I'm like punishing her. I'm suspending her. You know how professional athletes get, they get fined or suspended. Do that with Nia Jackson. Yet there's politics in play that, oh, it's okay. No, there has to be a structure, a system. There has to be an outlaw. There has to be a sheriff in that damn locker room. Who was the sheriff there? Undertaker. You think Undertaker is gonna allow that shit? No. Who's the Undertaker in there? Who's having wrestling court and saying you have been absolute? You almost thousand times hurt one of our main stars. That is a no in Charlotte Flair. And
yeah,
you hurt supposedly your best friend in Alexa Bliss. I am so sick and tired of the politics. I'm pretty sure everybody in that roster I bet you everybody is saying, what are we doing? What is going on? Because guess what? We live in the media, and it's not just hush hush anymore, or I heard anymore. It's right there in front of your face. It's you opening your phone up and news coming in. So you think all these superstars in WWE are not looking at this and seeing all their former coworkers, all their friends going to another company and just going like, what are we doing? Everybody said that with Wyatt, right? Everybody, they were shocked, shocked, and now they're afraid of their job. AEW, I see it, man. I see it. I see that they're coming up. It's not like right now they're kind of like WCW. They're fighting those ratings right now, but I think they get it. I think they're actually gonna be absolutely. I think they're managed better than WCW. I mean, there's a lot of money that they're putting out there with signing big names like these. Like they can't sign everybody, you know, and you don't want to overcrowd your roster
But
like
that's the
WWE.
that's the thing that AEW is doing good. They're selecting who they should and not just sign everybody and their mother and we don't know
Yes,
what to do with them.
yeah, like you said, why is Eva Marie
Yeah.
in the WWE? And then there was rumors that the one of the Bella twins was going to come back. Why? We don't need a Bella twin back. Why? Why?
No.
I don't get it. And then you got a dead brand like NXT, which is a shame. But Vince is taking. He took over in that. I mean, with I think Triple H health issues and stuff too. That's happening. But Vince is
Well,
taking
he
over that.
probably he probably got sick because the pressure that he's
Yes,
having of
exactly.
like making something of NXT, but like Vince is just ruining it because come on, Adam Cole, love the guy. I love the guy. I've been a fan of his since his beginning in NXT, and as soon as I saw that they were letting him go,
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, are you kidding me right now? Like seriously, look at everybody who went who were like very big stars in NXT. Where are they now? What did you do with Aleister Black?
Yep.
What did you do with like Ruby Riot and like all the girls? Like I don't understand what's happening. Adam Cole was one of the best worker and you just let him go.
And now he's a heel in AEW, which is great.
Yes.
With Kenny Omega. And this Kenny Omega guy, I really like this guy. This Kenny Omega, the before Adam Cole came out, he finished his matchup with Christian Cage, aka Christian, and he cuts a not a promo, but he cuts yeah, I guess he cuts a promo. He goes, nobody could beat me, and if they could, they're already dead or they're not even here. Like the mic skills on this guy, it's not like smooth like The Rock or Chris Jericho, but what he has is charm. The guy exudes charisma, confidence. He has a good look to him as well. I like Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega, I think, is a great like heel. And then you had Adam Cole come out, and it was so good. Like everything was so good at that ending.
But go back to Kenny Omega.
Uh huh.
Why do you think he never wanted to sign with WWE?
I think like a lot of them, they know that this is a better opportunity, better.
Because he doesn't want to be told what to say. And that's
This,
what AEW is. AEW, they tell you, okay, this is the general idea. Go and run with it. Because I just listened to the podcast of Renee Paquette,
mm-hmm.
aka Renee Young, with CM Punk, and he explained it. He says, Tony Khan gives you, here's the big storyline, run with it. We don't give you a script, we
Yeah,
don't tell you what to say, you run with it. That's why the promo with Jericho and MGF, or MFG, whatever his name is,
yeah.
all the promos with Kenny Omega, the promos we're gonna get with Adam Cole, Those are all what's is making AEW the best. And I bet you anything, if you put any of the two shows, SmackDown or Raw, the same night as Dynamite, Dynamite will win in the ratings. I can guarantee you that.
Now, I'm gonna say this though, that the WWE does give they let loose and they took the collar off when it came to saying, going saying not you necessarily using the script with Roman Reigns, and it's improved tremendously. Like Roman Reigns says, he gets the idea what he's gonna say, but he's able to actually, do these cuts and promos with a little bit more freedom than he used to.
Yes, but hold on a second. Why is the rule only for certain people?
That's the thing. It's politics, right? You got your best. You got. I mean, I'm pretty sure The Rock had to fight with Vince or whoever to ad lib, right? We don't know that. Nobody said anything, but I kind of
Correct.
assume. I kind of assume that a lot of these guys have to. It's kind of like an actor with a director. The director wants you to do it a certain way, but let's give best example is George Lucas or Star Wars in the Empire Strikes Back. Leia, that famous scene where Han's gonna be in the carbonite. Leia goes, "I love you," and what does freaking Harrison Ford do? He changes it up. He says, "I know." So good, they kept it in there, but it wasn't supposed to be like that. That was not in the script. I think that yes, the WWE gives it's a push and pull for some people. They really have to fight for it. But if you're a big megastar like Roman Reigns, it's a little bit easier to come by with the leverage you can have. Same with The Rock. Same with John Cena. John Cena,
Well,
they had to
you cannot script John Cena. Come on.
yeah.
You cannot find a writer that could write the script for what John Cena did for the past 20 years.
And even when he came back, he kind of like it was so he did the CM Punk thing where he made it so real, talking about Roman Reigns. Like it didn't never really felt it didn't really feel like a like a promotion to it. It really felt like genuine. But so let's move on from there. CM Punk, his debut in Chicago was amazing. This is what made Vince McMahon shit his pants. This is why you got not only Becky Lynch, which I called. I didn't call this though. He gave Brock Lesnar a call. That's why you got Becky Lynch and Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam. Because of CM Punk. The man is scaring them. He's scaring them over there of like how much I don't think they really realized. Like they knew he was popular. They didn't know he was that popular. When he came out that night, that was one of the loudest pops I've ever heard. You had when Daniel Bryan won in the Yes chant. You had, of course, when Mick Foley won in Raw and Stone Cold came out, that pop. Like it's up there. It is big. It is huge. And then he gave everybody ice cream afterwards, which is awesome. It just takes me back to when he said in this contract he wanted the WWF ice cream back. And I love that ice cream. Everybody loves that ice cream. But so CM Punk is now in AEW and with him talking that night was amazing. It was perfect. It was so perfect. And then he had Becky Lynch, which was awesome, her coming back. Not perfect. Brock Lesnar coming in was good. I like the whole Paul Heyman thing too. But CM Punk comes in, and then now CM Punk is here, and Daniel Bryan's coming, and you're even more excited. But then you heard the news with Adam Cole. But CM Punk he's given A&W a huge shot.
Mm-hmm.
Him. Daniel Bryan too, but I think CM Punk is a little bit more popular than Daniel. But
Well, CM Punk, he needed that. He needed to come back to in Chicago because that's his home.
yeah,
Chicago has been now the home of AEW
mm-hmm.
because that's where they started the first show. That's where their home base is, Chicago. So
And I
there
think
was no if and buts about it.
I think All Out was in Chicago too.
Yeah, it wasn't Chicago because everything is based from that fan base that started since day one.
So who runs AEW?
It's Tony Khan is the one who puts the money, but really Cody Rhodes is the one is behind the scene of everything.
Okay, both of them.
He
Tony,
and his wife Brandy, I think is she's the brand manager, marketing or something along the line.
Tony and Cody, genius to do it in Chicago because every time it's in Chicago, the crowd is amazing.
Yeah,
Matches, pay per views, anything, anything that you promote, you do. If the crowd is not in it, it's gonna be a boring ass watch, or it's not gonna be as good. It's but a crowd can elevate everything, and the crowd has been amazing over there with CM Punk and even an All Out. They were wooing, awing, fantastic crowd. So genius of really going to Chicago and seeing and knowing that it's just it gets it elevates whatever they're putting on. So CM Punk in Adam Cole, this big signing that they did. This is like fantasy football where you get like an Antonio Brown in the fifth round, and you're like nobody picked him up, really? Like no, this is a great, and everybody telling you that's a great signing. He
but also I just want to bring you up. Also, what was awesome is that Tony Khan told CM Punk, "You have no limit time. Go out there and do whatever you want. No pressure. We
Yeah,
don't expect anything from you. Just go and enjoy and take in what you deserve to get."
and that they're riding high with him. I think
Yes.
the Movent it's hot right now. Like the Movent how do you say it? Like
Momentum?
there we go, momentum. I don't know why I couldn't say it. Is like super fiery, like Doritos type, flaming hot. It's really good. They got to do, and even the match with him and was Darby Allen,
Yes.
solid, solid match. Not like a great. I don't think it was a 10 out of 10 match, but for him being out of the game for so many years, it was a solid match. And then he had Sting shake his hand at the end, paying respect. So I'm looking forward to a lot of CM Punk and what he
Well,
could do later
the
on.
good thing about it is that here's what I think get me back a little bit with just a tiny bit of WCW
Mm-hmm.
is that AEW, what you see is a little bit of reality because CM Punk, his first message, he says, "I came back to help all the young kids in the back."
Yes.
And that's exactly what he says he wants to do is help those kids in ring or off the ring to make them feel better. And that's also what Christian came to. He wants to help the new generation of wrestling to be able to work on their own, to get better on their craft without having the politics and being told what to do, just to be original. Because also, Jungle Boy,
Yeah.
he said that he is not comfortable with promos. And he said that since day one. He says, "I rather just show what I can do on the ring without having to talk." That's why you never see him talk. You only see him wrestling. And that's what AEW decided to do. He says, "You know what? Just do whatever you want and what makes you happy." And that's what I think makes AEW so much better to watch.
Well, Kane never really talked, too, and look at how big of a superstar that dude is. Um,
Correct. But I think they also made him not want to talk.
yeah, I want to point out too. I didn't know he was on the roster. I'm barely getting into A&W now. Brian Pillman Jr. is
Yeah.
on the roster, and and he's I knew he was. What was he? Was he in Impact?
No, he's been on AEW since day one because I've seen him.
Was
It's
it
been a year.
AEW? Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
I've seen him for a year now in AEW.
Well, he of course his tag team is Varsity Blondes, like the Hollywood Blondes. Him, his father, and Stone
Yeah,
Cold were in. This is like Brian Pillman. Like, what? I question, like, why isn't he in WWE? You know, and watching the Dark Side of the Ring with Brian Pillman,
yeah.
amazing episode. If you guys haven't seen it, please go watch the Dark Side of the Ring. They have Brian Pillman, which was great. They had Eddie Guerrero and Chris Benoit situation, Owen Hart, just an absolutely fabulous documentary series. And so Brian Pillman, they showcased Brian Pillman Jr. and him following his father's footsteps. Stone Cold actually gave him an heirloom that Brian gave Stone Cold, and Stone Cold gave it back to Brian Jr. And I said, man, this guy has the look. He has the look. I think he has the capability. So I'm just like, why didn't WWE take him in? So, but he's over there at AEW. So that's another talent I want to continue to look at, and hopefully, they do something with him because his name alone, like I love I love the storyline. No, following in his father's footsteps. But there's so much great talent here. My favorite signing is the Brian Danielson signing. I love Brian, not because maybe because his name is Daniel as well. I love this sign. I think he's a fantastic babyface. He's when WWE out of all the wrestlers, I was a big fan of Brian. He
Hmm.
just has that. He just has that charm. You want him to win. He has that Karate Kid mentality. You want him to persevere and win. That's why I was hoping he'd win at WrestleMania. But hearing all the news about him leaving, like it's not going to happen. I want to see him and CM Punk booking later on down the road. I know they're not going to do it now, but later on down the road, I want to see those two have a rivalry. Adam Cole, it looks like they're setting up with him and Adam Cole maybe. They changed his name to Danielson, which I like. It's a nice little, nice little ring to it. Chris J says Vince wants WWE to die with him. I think
Yeah.
so. I think Vince going to back to WWE, being scared with all these, just the. I think he is. I think he's shaking in his boots right now, and Raw hasn't been getting any better, even with the crowd
No.
intact. Has
Mm-mm.
not. SmackDown, but Vince. I honestly think, Sandra, that Vince is going to sell. Rumor has it he might sell to Disney. The mouse might get it, which is crazy because the mouse has everything. So the rumor, and I think that's a strong possibility that Vince is going to sell later, like either tomorrow, a few weeks down the road, because I look at WWE and I don't know, like that's the only justification I have with it, where they're going like, well, we're going to sell this anyway. Let's just get as much money as we can. But then they have like WrestleMania books next year, blah blah blah. They have partnerships. I don't know. I have no clue what the hell they're doing over there. I really am interested to see what's going on behind the scenes there. But this is what I wanted to point out though, Sandra. Okay. There's a difference though. I'm gonna give them this. WWE, even though it still needs some fine tooling and some better booking, maybe a better wrestler, a couple better wrestlers, but I still think their women's division is better than AEW's women's division. Here's
Okay.
why.
Go ahead.
You cannot deny the fact that Becky Lynch is a beast. Her popularity is through. She's doing what Stone Cold. They try to do with Stone Cold when they turned him heel. Nobody wanted to boo her. Nobody wants to boo her. Everybody wants to like her. They don't care if she screwed over Bianca Belair. Her popularity is through the roof. She is the her Charlotte Flair. Even though a lot of people are sick and tired of Charlotte, I'm gonna put her up in there. And I think up and comers like Bianca Belair, you have Alexa Bliss. If they stop with the stupid gimmick, I just think the women's division, they have they have the names. While AEW has the talent, and I think they can improve. I'm not. If you're gonna, here's the thing. If you're gonna set up a match, and I can only watch, uh, if you had to set up a match with either Becky Lynch, or let's say Becky Lynch versus Bianca Belair versus whoever on the AEW side, any of them, who do you think I'm gonna choose? I'm gonna choose Bianca Belair and Becky Lynch. I am more intrigued. I am more invested. I know who these people are. I know that match is could be a 10 out of 10, 5-star rating match. And even if it's not, I'm still going to be entertained because I'm a huge fan of Becky Lynch, Bianca Belair. Even if you get a Charlotte Flair versus Becky, I'm taking that match. AEW, no disrespect. I think there's a lot of talented women, but I still think they're not there just yet.
Well, why do you think they're not there yet? Because nobody knows them.
Yes, but here's the thing though. I just think I don't know. When I saw the Rumble and I saw like a lot of the names and the champions on there. Okay, who put down in the comments? I think it was Jermaine. I think it was you, Jermaine. If you get, I know you said this, Sandra, but never say never. Never say never. If you get AJ Lee signed in AEW, that's a little bit of a game changer right there in the women's division.
Well, it's not because you just said you would. There's nothing for you to watch on AEW for women. Even
A
if you add AJ Lee,
I
so
I
of
would
the of
I
the
w-
roster of the female roster in AEW, who do you know?
hardly anybody.
Okay, add AJ Lee. What is gonna change for you?
It's gonna pique my interest even more with AJ Lee.
Okay, that's the thing. So let's see what here the women's division. You have minimum 20 girls in WWE.
Mm-hmm.
How many do you see every week?
You see those. You see Nia Jackson. You see Becky Lynch. You see the same girls.
You see like what? The six same girls. So you have
Yeah.
14 girls there plus the one that you're bringing from NXT because apparently we're bringing everybody from NXT up there.
Well,
So
I'll
when
say
you gonna
another
so
girl that I really like is Rhea Ripley. They're just doing her dirty.
so
Oscar.
that's what I'm saying. Like so AEW they don't have a lot of girls. But
No.
every week they only have like a 2 hour dynamite and a 1 hour rampage. You see them all going in. You see them all. That's the thing that AEW knows what to do. And that first promo this past week on Dynamite between Ruby Soho and Britt,
Mm-hmm.
that was phenomenal. That was awesome because Britt says, "Hey, I'm the queen here. What do you think you're doing?" And you're setting up Britt and Ruby for a next match, but you still have the rest of the girls going in. Which, by the way, I loved how Adam Cole put his 2 cents into Tony Schiavone, saying like, "Do not look at my girl," because everybody knows Britt and Adam are together as a couple of
Yeah.
the ring, but that was awesome. I have to admit, like AEW makes me excited.
Yeah.
Raw and SmackDown, I recorded and I fast forward 3 quarters of the show.
Well, yeah. It's overly. We already talked about it, overly bloated.
Yeah.
No need for 3 hours. It's not. You're not gonna be. There's nothing in really too engaging. There's some things here and there, but you're not gonna watch the whole damn thing. It's bad. It's bad. Raw is bad. It's terrible. Look at a lot of the YouTube channels who talk about Raw. They are miserable. Always having to cover Raw. The ups, the downs. It's more downs. I think What Culture does like a count of how many roll ups and how many distractions they've had this year. It's ridiculous. But going back in the women's division, here's the thing, Sandra. I've always said too, it's all about character. That's one big aspect of wrestling. If you have a character, what I'm meaning is costume. I'm meaning storyline. Mick Foley had three good. Well, I don't really like Dude Love, but yeah, two amazing characters.
Yeah.
He had Mankind. Well, you could say even four because you could even give Mick Foley is Mick Foley, and he's kind of a character in itself. It's ironic, but Mankind, Cactus Jack, you know, I just feel like the AEW women don't really like. Yes, there's great stars in here, and Britt and Soho or Ruby Soho, but some of these wrestlers don't really have a good gimmick. That's how I feel. Like some of them just don't have. They're kind of bland to me. You
Yeah, but
have
hold on a second. Sometimes it's not them who decide to have a persona, it's built by WWE. Because the best example we can talk about is Dolph Ziggler. How many personas they gave to that guy? Minimum 10. A
I'm not.
golfer?
Oh yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Like I'm not like it's WWE is still really super freaking bad. But there's takeaways, right? This is where I'm going to give WWE a leg up because yeah, I think that their women's division is they have more superstars, so to speak. But that doesn't mean that AEW is not climbing that ladder, is not improving. They are. They're improving all the time. Not only with the women's, but they're also improving with the men's.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. I just think that a signing like AJ Lee gives it more pop, more excitement. Absolutely more excitement. It doesn't hurt to get more excitement. I do. You're absolutely right. She's a writer. She's actually writing. She's doing a big project. I was like kind of shocked. It's a big movie project, and I was kind of shocked that she got this gig. I didn't even know she was a writer. But God, I would love to see her back in the
And you
ring.
know what? I think for her and Punk, I think that's where they're gonna say, like, you know what, you do your thing, I'm doing my thing, because I
No.
think that for a couple, that's a good thing also for them.
I
Like,
definitely don't think she should come back right away. I think,
I don't
but
think so.
if she does, I think you wait at least a year or a couple of years or a year and a half. But you're right. She might not ever come back. But you never say never. I've
No,
seen
never say never.
I've seen crazier things.
But
Um,
can we take 5 minutes because I am dying to talk about this.
let's hear it
That promo of Brock Lesnar
with
with
Paul Heyman.
Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman.
Yes, I saw that.
So I always hated Brock Lesnar since day one. Never liked the guy. Never.
I
Called
don't
him a
like him
part
as a
timer.
human. I don't like him as a human being.
I don't.
No,
But when he came out at SummerSlam, it made me turn my head. I'm like, what the hell is going on? And I told you at our review of SummerSlam, I'm like,
hmm
I don't know how he's going to do it without Paul Heyman because the guy has no promo whatsoever.
yeah.
But when he came out and he took the mic, I'm like, okay, now you got my attention. And he didn't have to say a lot of words, but the impact of his promo was awesome.
I never thought he was bad at. Like I saw it there. Like if you saw him at UFC cutting a lot of these interviews or talking about the match, like he has it. The dude has this famous line that said when he was in UFC, he says, "I'm just a big white boy, a big jacked up white boy who's here to kick ass, basically." I mean,
Correct, but
it's there.
yeah, but the promos of UFC has nothing to do with a promo that has to be 10 minutes on WWE.
Here's the thing though, you see it. You see, like with I saw. So a lot of people were giving Henry Cavill crap for Superman because they wouldn't really like. It's kind of the same situation where they just absolutely wouldn't make him lighten up, tell jokes. And then I watch his interview and I'm like, dude, this guy has charisma, charm, but guess who? Guess they're not doing it. They're not. You can't see that in the movies because the movies are written this way where he's not. He can't use those qualities and abilities. Same with Brock. Now you're right. It's a 10-minute promo, but there's a way to get around that. There's always a way to get around somebody who's not too great on the mic skills, but could still get the point across. Could still be enjoyable. You know, but I actually,
I did enjoy this week. I'm not gonna lie. Again, not
yeah,
a fan of Brock, but when he just said that to Paul, and Paul is the best when it comes to like comebacks and emotion. Is he doesn't even have to talk. His face says it all.
yeah,
That's what
yeah.
I loved it.
I thought it was I thought it's hilarious. It's kind of like the kid having to pick the parent, basically, a divorce. That's not funny, divorce, but it's just the
No,
overall
but
thought.
yeah.
Yeah, you get the gist of it. And I like it. I actually really, really like it. Now, here's the okay. So, if we're moving to Brock Lesnar and the Roman Reigns real quick, I know this is A&W, but you got to talk some WWE and what they're doing right now. So, that is what they're doing with those guys are good. They it's the issue we have is a lot of the other talent that they have that they're
Oh
absolutely doing nothing with.
no.
But another one that I was like, what are you guys doing? You know what, Finn? Maybe you should go elsewhere. That's Finn Balor. I like this cat. I like Finn. I think I like him. He turned into his demonic
Well,
alter
they
ego.
had no choice. They had to turn into the demon because that's what people want to see. They want to see is alter ego the demon.
I think it's stupid, but I love his entrance. I really don't like him without because he just has like it just he's kind of a smaller guy, and I'm not really intimidated by him, especially when he's like trying to lock or try to stare down Roman Reigns, and Roman Reigns is a monster. But his entrance was phenomenal when he came out. But I do like Finn Balor. I think I like him. I really like it, but I don't know what's going on here. Like I'm assuming they're gonna do a triple threat match with him, Brock, and Roman. Here's the thing: a lot of people in the comments are saying, "Listen, we like Finn too. We want him to get his comeuppance, but then you can't, dethrone Roman Reigns because Roman Reigns is, his title run has kind of like has begun and he's like the man, he's the head of the table. But then you got Brock Lesnar in there and you kind of like you can see Brock maybe winning it, but he only has a couple matches in his contract to show up every so often. That's what I hate. How about we do I said this in SummerSlam. I said this in SummerSlam when it was against John Cena and Roman Reigns. You could if John it's predictable. You
You
have John
think?
Cena. If you have John Cena win, you have him lose the title the next night. At least everybody will be surprised. It's the same thing here. If they do a triple threat match, you really think Finn Balor's going to win? You really think? I give a chance to Brock, but they're not going to dethrone their superstar. Their head of the table. Their eye candy. The guy who's on the front of the poster. They're not going to do that, and that's the damn problem. WWE fans, wrestling fans in general, they're not stupid. They know what's going on. They know works. They know shoots. They know that Charlotte Flair and Nikki Jackson really did hit each other. They know all that shit. We know that. We're not dumb. We know what might be the outcome of matches just because we know that's the problem with social media is everything these guys do. Their schedules and all that stuff. The Rock's gonna come back and he's just or Goldberg comes back. you
It's no
know,
longer a surprise.
yeah, it's mind blowing. So AEW, man, because a lot of people thought Chris Jericho was gonna lose, all out. Every
They
because
can't. They
every,
can't.
they said there was a possibility, but that's what I want. I want people to think that there's a
Well,
possibility.
if if we can go back to the 90s and 2000 and no dirt sheet, I would be so much happier because I would not know. It would be like driving me crazy and like sitting on my chair and like waiting for things to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Now we know exactly what's happening.
You know what boggles my
And
mind, Sandra,
yeah,
though, is back in the day, like in the '90s and early 2000s. I love me some Stone Cold. That's my
yeah.
favorite wrestler of all time. Every pay per view. I mean, we watched a lot of pay per views with Stone Cold. Being the main guy because he was the main guy.
Paying every month to see it too.
Yeah, pain. Yeah, that's the word, pain for it.
Paying for it at 29.99 every month on your cable bill. That was for us in Canada, anyways.
Yeah, we definitely had that payment on the bill. Yes. So you know what's nuts is a lot of times Stone Cold didn't win. He got
Yeah,
screwed over, and then he didn't win, and that's nuts. Your main guy not winning, you know,
but
and they
we
don't do
said it.
that no more.
But we said it time and time again. It's not the win or the lose. It's the story that you project
And at
on
the
that
time,
match.
that Vince McMahon feud, and then when he did, it was the right time. The best match I could always remember is his fight with Vince in the cage. What was it, like the Valentine's Massacre one pay
When
per view?
Paul White came out of the mat,
Yeah, and then he just throws Stone Cold, and I was like a crazy finish. I'm like, dude, and then you got Stone Cold versus The Rock at WrestleMania. Loved it. Speaking about Paul White, I'm sorry guys if you guys are a Big Show fan. He's he needs to retire. I just there's nothing like he was in the All Out pay per view, but that was the least most interesting match that whole night. Like, he's a cool guy. I see him in interviews. I just don't. He's never been that guy. He's there's. I just don't see it. I don't really care for Big Show matches. I saw this guy live. At No Way Out. It's cool. He's a big guy. But I don't know. To me, he's an A&W, but he's the least most interesting wrestler there.
but I don't think I. You know what? He's not there to be a wrestler. He's there to be behind the scene, and I'm okay with that.
Okay, good. Yeah, I mean, if he's behind, I get, you got to throw him
Yeah,
a bone
he's
here
there
and there,
for behind the scene. He's no longer wrestling.
which is
He
good.
is there for behind the scene.
Well, that's what's good about AEW is they got a mix of those vets and then this young talent, and like you said, the teaching ability that these guys could do, because that's the old age tradition, to
Yeah.
get these new guys over on these older guys, which is phenomenal, and you could feel that in AEW. Now, I wanted to bring this up because you were talking about that. We're talking about AEW. It's new. It's fresh. It's on the rise. Everybody has camaraderie, right? Everybody's like, we're all in this together. That doesn't mean down the line when they start making some money, when they start maybe beating WWE or just overtaking WWE, which I believe they will do. They will be the spot to go for wrestling, and I will not be shocked if WWE does get sold off. They will be the new WWF. But with more money, more power comes more headaches. That means future in let's say 10 years down the line, WCW, I'm not saying they're WCW, but WCW, they had a good run and then it just all blew up. There's still that possibility with AEW. I don't think it's going to happen like WCW, but there's always going to be inner fights. There's always going to be money issues. There's always going to be it's always there. Even with the most traditional, with the most top, with the most respectful wrestlers. I mean, Bret Hart, he had to go to WCW because he needed more money, and Vince wouldn't do it. Even though he loved the company, he wanted to stay. It's the same with AEW. Once they get on top, and once they blow up, and once they are the company, don't be shocked if those problems arise later on down the future. Right now, I think it's great though, camaraderie. They know what they're really taking chances, but just like George Lucas, who hated the man, who hated corporate, he became a corporate man himself.
But to your point, I think the way that they're doing the correct way right now is that they're having only 4 or 5 pay-per-views a year. They're
Good.
having 2 weekly shows, 3 hours max,
Yes.
and they don't have the guy going on the road 7 days a week to do house shows.
Here's the thing. I mean, I know they have to still stretch it out because of their roster. They want to showcase everybody, but damn, like 3 hours. I feel like nowadays, because our intention spans that every as we move to new generations new generations with more technology and more technology, we want fast. We want it now. We don't want to, if something's boring, we tune off. I think maybe 2.5 hours. You got
And
to.
that's what I'm saying with AEW, that's their advantage. They are not overkilling their superstars. They don't put them 364 days a year on the road. They
Exactly.
they have a schedule. That's why do you think Chris Jericho is enjoying this schedule right now? He's doing once a week a live TV show, and he can continue doing his tour with his band Fozzy. I mean,
Not
come
only
on.
even Brock Lesnar. I was watching a video of things said about Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar is always pissed when he had to work those
Yeah,
those long days. He had to go jump to two planes, this and that. Like, yeah, that takes a toll. Like, I wouldn't blame the man to be like an asshole because he's literally like, go, go, go. I'm on this plane. It's not a very I'm still not comfortable. And then I got to work that night. Like it's
yeah,
insane. So I absolutely agree. And then you have wrestlers who get injured because their body, our body's like a car. You keep
yeah,
using it, you keep taking long trips, it's gonna wear down, and you are gonna have a very bad injury in time. That's why you look at older wrestlers like Triple H, Ric Flair. Like, dude, these guys could like. I mean, look at Triple H is famous. What he had like an ACL tear or something like that twice because these guys' bodies can't do it anymore. Stone Cold was smart. He knew that was his last match after he was in the hospital. He's like, that's it, and he's never come back. Which he could have come back for one match for a big payday, but he never did it. Mick Foley eventually left. Eventually doesn't do it anymore. The Undertaker, you just saw his body wear down. You saw that he just wasn't. It was time. I mean, I know I've heard rumors he wants to do they keep saying that he might come back. He has that movie. He has a movie that's going to be coming
yeah.
out, which is cool. But I don't blame people, for wanting in their contract like I don't want to do this many. I don't want
No.
to.
And
Chris Jericho's a smart man. He knew what he wanted.
yeah. Well, yeah, and to bring up what Chris just said, yes, AEW having less match, less everything. The actual win loss records like it does matter. We're not no longer on the 176 uh wins over zero loss like Goldberg. Like those wins and loss in AEW, it does matter, and that's what it is very good, is refreshing. And you don't have always the same matches either. Like, okay, we had like the whole feud with Chris Jericho, but now it's over, so now we're moving on. But
Hmm.
like, how many times can you see the same freaking match like on the WWE? Like, I literally fast forward like 3 quarters of the Raw until I see something that like, oh, okay, it's appealing to me, I will watch it. But other than that, I'm done watching the same freaking show over.
Everybody is absolutely completely done. Okay, so we're gonna be ending this fairly early because, as you guys know, the NFL season is on today, and I want to go watch football.
I know.
But I want to leave. I want to leave with this question. Okay, so we're gonna answer this question right here, Sandra. Who is the main person in AEW that you tune in for, that you want to see on the daily, that you are a big fan of, and after answering that, on the other side, who right now is keeping WWE afloat, in your opinion?
Well, if anybody knows me here, what brings me to watch AEW and what brought me to watch AEW since day one is John Moxley. I'm all over John Moxley. He is for me what I watch because he's another one that was sick and tired of being told what to do, what to say in a promo. He says, let me out, let me do whatever I want, and it works. He's my guy for AEW since day one. What keeps me watching WWE? See, my answer was not as fast as AEW.
Yeah.
I I am still I'm old fashioned. I have my boys that I keep going, but I am enjoying watching what Randy Orton is doing right now.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
I'm not enjoying the whole RK Bro, I'm not gonna lie.
I like it. I
But
know we're different on that.
yes, but I know why he's doing it, and it's
Mm-hmm.
to help Riddle.
Riddle. Mm-hmm.
And it's to help the kids. And he said it openly. He is now no longer putting his body into like wrestling. He's there to show the kids how to get the angles, how to do the promo, how to take it in and not rush everything. And watching him work right now, I'm paying attention of what he does on the ring, and it's fascinating to see how much he can teach those kids to be working and being a good wrestler.
I think he has another. I think, in my opinion, I think he has another. He can have another title run. That's how he's still that good. I still think
Yes.
he could have another big title run. Um, AEW. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I've heard about it. I was watching a little bit, but really caught my eye. What really got me back, like really got me into it. CM Punk. I'm not the hugest CM Punk fan, but I like what's going on in that situation. CM Punk and the Lucha Bros. The Lucha Bros are, my God. This tag team is high flying, exciting. I freaking love them. They're so. It brings me back to those old Christian and Edge, the Hardy Boys especially. They're that damn good. So, but what really brought me into it was CM Punk and seeing what they're gonna do with this guy, and then with me going in this with CM Punk, then he opened the doors of me seeing the other talent as well and what they could do. So definitely CM Punk, and then at WWE side, Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch for sure. Like I love Becky Lynch. I think she's a badass. I love her, but I don't like what they're doing. I hate what WWE's doing with her. It's really stupid. But I'm still gonna watch because I just I love Becky Lynch. Yeah, I would even say Bianca Belair too because I really like that, or Bianca or Rhea Ripley. I'm really invested in the women's division. I think the women's division is way more. At some points, could be more exciting than the men's. They just have I don't know. The men's is just. I mean, Edge is always actually really good, always good. And then I do, like you said, the Paul Heyman, the Roman Reigns and stuff. But I'll go Becky Lynch for WWE, who's a saving grace right now. And then CM Punk on the other side is just really blowing it up. Really putting AEW back on the map. And of course, I want to see Daniel's son, but I'll give it to CM Punk because that was one of the best crowd pops I've ever heard. And that dude is this. He's bringing it's something special, something very special that it's like lightning in a bottle. So, all right, guys, I wanted to talk. We've been saying this. We've been wanting to talk about AEW for a while, but so much good thing we waited because so much big stuff was happening. So much great stuff that might be in down the road, and which again we will be talking AEW. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's going to be a couple signings in here that's going to blow up the internet as well. And then we'll see with WWE. The curiosity over there, it's not necessarily of wanting to see or watching because enjoyable matches or Raws and stuff. We're really intrigued with WWE because it's like a disaster over there right now, and it feels like it's imploding. So I want to know what the hell is going to go on with this company. This is a company that's been in the game for decades. This is the when they say WrestleMania, you think WWE, aka WWE, like they are the wrestling company that has been in the game, has done it the best, and blah blah blah. But now that's not the case. Now, like it's a little different today than when the WCW versus WWF days. I feel like it's a little different because of the new because of technology and the overall fan interest and all this stuff. I just feel like it's a little different, and different is always sometimes always good too. But with WWE, I mean, honestly, I don't wish for this company to be sold off. I do wish they actually do get their shit together. The reality is, I don't think they will unless somebody really steps in and takes over and Vince steps away. But Vince is kind of like an older Al Davis. He's kind of like an older Jerry Jones, where he doesn't get somebody. He doesn't step down. He doesn't know when to
I
stop.
think I think what they would need to do as a company is tell Vince to stop messing with the scripts and the writers and let them do their job. Because how many times do we read that a script of a Monday Night Raw was changed 10 minutes before the show went live because he decided he didn't want it?
And he does last minute changes like on the fly, like that
Yeah.
the day before, sometimes the day of. Insane.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we're gonna end it here. I hope you guys have a good rest of your Sunday. I want to thank SOA Sandra with me today. Always talking wrestling, always talking, and then soon we're gonna be talking. If you guys are, of course, Sons of Anarchy fans or Mayans fans, that's gonna, it's approaching. We'll talk some of that stuff, but we love to talk wrestling. We love what A&W is doing over there. So let's just see what happens. Let's see what's gonna happen in the future and the signings and all that stuff. So, thank you, Sandra.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, guys. Love the comments. We will see you guys next time. And I'm Dan the Man, aka Daniel's son. And you guys have a